Welcome back to MVM. Today we have Project L from Boardcubator. This is a 1 to 4 player tile placement game. It's abstract, and I gotta say, it's very abstract, but I really like it. This is unique.
Yeah, I would call it a competitive puzzle game, to be honest. I mean, that's kind of what you're doing here. So,
prototype. I should say that right at the start. Each of these different things that you see aren't 100% complete. You have white tiles, and this is so simple. You have white tiles, you have black tiles.
Yep.
You have some of these different types of components or tokens that are going to be placed on these things. However, the final version is going to look like this. And this is really cool. Now, you can't really see on camera, but this is a thick piece of cardboard with this cool like sheen on the backside.
Yeah.
And then it's indented.
Spot gloss.
So the actual pieces are going to fit inside of here, which is really cool. So you're going to be taking your pieces and actually fitting them in these locations to try to complete them. So let's talk about the actual game itself. Project L.
So setup is very simple. You divide you divide everything, all the different pieces into the different piles. And these pieces are leveled based on their size. So you have your level 1s, 2s, 3s, and then a bunch of level 4s to choose from.
Yep.
Then you deal out a certain number of level 1 cards and level 2 cards based on the number of players.
Yep.
So there isn't a ton of setup you have to do.
That's it.
And this also acts as the timer for the game. When all of these level 2 cards are gone, game ends.
And the number of those cards depend upon the number of players, obviously.
Yeah.
All right, so there are basically 4 actions that you take on your turn. Before we get into those actions, let's talk about what you're trying to do. You're trying to fulfill each of these by putting components on them that match these different types of shapes that you see. Very Tetris-like. Each of these is also worth a number of victory points, which you're going to collect when this tile is completed. You collect this tile, and you'll get that many victory points at the end. And then it has a type of component that you will collect onto your side once this is complete as well. So it's another way in order to collect components. But the game is super simple. We have a game in progress, but this is how the game would work. On your turn, you get one of four different actions. Those actions are to take a level 1 tile.
Yeah, you
That's
can
as
always
simple as that.
can take a level 1. And at the start of your game, when you have nothing in front of you, you kind of have to.
So I take one of these, and I simply place it onto my side. Yeah. That's action number 1.
Yeah, the second action you can do is upgrade one of your tiles you already have. So you can take an upgrade. So this level 3 tile, for example, I could upgrade it to any of the level 4 tiles or change it out to the other type of level 3. So in this instance, I could take that.
So any of the upgrades, 1s to 2s, 2s to 3s, and 3s to 4s, and so forth. The third option I could take is to actually take one of these tiles and simply place it in front of me. That kind of locks it in so you get to build it and no one else can touch it. So I could take this level 2 tile, which gives me 5 victory points, and just put it on my side. And
then a new one will come out and replace it.
The final action is to simply take one of your pieces that you've collected and lay it on any one of the different tiles that you have collected in front of you, such as that.
Yeah, and so far, any of these 4 actions can be repeated multiple times. So I could just use my 3 actions to grab 3 cards and kind of block you from taking them. However, there is one action that you get to do, a bonus action that you can do, and you can only do this 1 time per round, but that is to look at all your cards and put 1 piece on every card, which is kind of cool. So if you plan your combos correctly, you could end up maybe even completing multiple cards at once with that bonus action.
So for my final action this round, once I've taken my 3 actions, is I could take one of these and put it here, and I could take another one and put it here. And again, that's just 1 component per individual tile that you've placed. And then it moves on to the next player.
Yeah, and your goal, like you said earlier, is to complete these cards, which I'd be able to do, with 1 placement here. So like you said, you get the 2 points and the piece, but these pieces I used come back to me.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So I can later use these to build bigger shapes and things like that. So it's almost like an engine builder.
Yeah.
In that the pieces you're drafting, your tiles you're drafting are getting you new pieces that are going to help you complete bigger tiles later.
Yep. And you're going to keep playing that, each player taking 3 actions with the bonus action at the end until this entire black deck has been gone through. Once that happens, each player gets to take 1 more finishing round.
Yeah, it's a finishing touch action. And you look at all the tiles in front of you that you have not yet completed, and you get to complete them with whatever pieces are left in your space. Now, if you can't complete them, nothing happens. But if you can, you get to add all those pieces, but you detract from the final score the number of pieces you had to use.
Yeah, and that's it. Once that's done, you're going to tally up all the different tiles you have, and you're going to see who has the most. And
and it's just straight victory points. And like I said earlier, a competitive puzzle game. I mean, there's not a lot as far as mechanically to learn. But man, when it comes to planning those actions and puzzling out the best way to complete these tiles, you could really waste some actions trying to fill up one of these big tiles with a bunch of little tiny pieces, or you could spend those actions upgrading to some of the bigger pieces.
And that's the cool thing about it too, is that there's so many different shapes, and then there's 9 different types of pieces here that you're going to be able to use. So you're thinking several turns in advance.
Yeah, and I haven't seen their Kickstarter page, so I don't have any inside information or anything, but I can imagine just new pieces, new cards. Like, there's no really limit to what you could do with like an abstract puzzle game like this.
And these are awesome. Seriously, if these tiles actually come to fruition and be able to lock those in, these are really, really cool. So this one is called Project L. It's from Boardcubator. It is 1 to 4, 5 players?
1 to 4 players, and it plays in about 20 minutes.
And so you played it solo too.
I have. There is a solo mode, and it's kind of a challenge mode. You have a timer deck, and you're trying to beat your high score. So you're trying to get as many points as you can before that timer runs out.
Very cool. If you guys have any questions about the game, make them in the comments below. Subscribe to us, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, everything else that we do, and we will catch you guys next time.